أردتم أن تكونوا شامة بين الورى فاختفوا آثار جيل للمعالي سطرا إن أردتم أن تكونوا شامة.
To begin today's talk. Today's speaker is Dr. Stef Keris. He's an independent lecturer, historian, presenter, author, and travel enthusiast. He was born in Athens, Greece, but was raised in Germany. He embraced Islam in 1992. He is a polyglot, which means he can speak up to 7 languages: English, German, Greek, French, Spanish, Dutch, and Arabic. He is the author of 3 books in the series of the hidden heritage of our world, and has made 3 documentaries about the Ottoman legacy in Greece, Hungary, and Vienna. So alhamdulillah, we have a prominent speaker here, alhamdulillah, so feel free to ask questions during the talk as well. Don't think you have to wait till the Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand and ask straight away. And also, we do have some books and DVDs available from the speaker at the end if you're looking to buy any. So please give it up for Dr. Stef Keris. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. We start with a dua. That means we start with the praise of Allah, with the praise of His Prophet, our last Prophet that we believe in, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him. Now, don't worry, their talk is in English, yes. It's not in Arabic. Okay, now, first of all, I would like to thank you for being here. And I'm very, very happy to be here again. I was planning from last year, I remember when I saw Lincoln and I was at the marina, I was planning to come back a little bit earlier to have the chance to film a little bit this area. But unfortunately, it has been a very busy year. And it hasn't finished yet, so until March, very, very busy. So alhamdulillah, which is good, no problem. Now here again, thank you, thanks the ISoc and everybody who is here today for the invitation. Indeed, it's a pleasure being here. Now, what are we going to do today? First of all, again, a very important thing what was announced already. Please, I don't want you to wait for a Q&A session because there is none. I want you to interrupt me. I want you to question what I'm saying. I want you to ask me questions that you have. Be also willing to respond and to reply to certain questions that I have, okay? And I will also give in between some tasks to do, which would make it a little bit more interactive than the normal, well, what people normally expect at the university and what you normally know from lecturers. So I don't want you to feel that you are at the university. I want you to feel that you're more in an area where you can interact with each other and with me. Okay? Please, again, ask me any question you want to and interrupt me. Okay? Feel free. You can do that today. Now, let's start straight away. First of all, today's topic is more something about, well, it's history. But I would like to ask you, first of all, what is history? You know, when we talk about history, what exactly is it? It's always good in the academia, we're supposed to define what we're talking about. We're supposed to define the key words that we're talking about. So history, what is history? Yes, brother?
Record of the past written by the victorious.
A record of the past written by the victorious. Absolutely great. Now, what do the other think? What do you guys think about it? A record of the past written by the victorious. And we are recording it, so I'm going to make use of this definition, inshallah, for next time. I like it. It's the first time that I hear a definition like this, actually. You can find it. It is not a new definition, but it's the first time that I hear students speaking about it. Which is good, because obviously this student most probably has been busy with it. Any other idea? Collection of events that happened in the past. Okay. Good. Next question. Why is the collection of the events that happened in the past, which is done for, finished, why is it important for us today?
To learn from.
Okay.
To learn from the mistakes or good things so that we don't repeat the dose till the patient dies.
Okay. Excellent. Good. Okay. That's great. Yes. Anything else? To learn from the mistakes that happened in the past. Okay. Anything else?
To avoid the mistakes that happen.
Okay, it's very close. To learn from the mistakes and to avoid them. In order to avoid them. To learn from them in order to avoid them. okay, in addition to what was said before. Third thing, okay, let's say, yes, bro.
To use history to influence today. So you could take like a skewed portion of history and use it to influence the people today.
Okay, good. Third part, or third question actually. Good. If it's something that we're supposed to learn from in the past, or something that we have to use to influence our thinking, right, or our understanding of today, have we made use of the past until now? Has this happened? Have we made use of the history that we have learned? I mean, we all have learned some history. And by the way, history 5 minutes ago, me coming to Lincoln is history. Me walking into this lecture theater is history. You coming and sitting here was history. This is all past. This is a past event that happened just 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 minutes ago, correct? This is something that happened in the past. It's a historical event, okay? Now, again, have we learned from the past? We as humanity, as human beings, have we learned from the past?
I don't know which culture or country.
In general, humanity.
Yes and no.
I don't think we need a specific country to answer the question. Yes or no, you say?
Yeah, it's in between. Like, they learn from some mistakes, but not from all of them.
Can you give me an example of the mistakes that people have learned from?
Well, one of the mistakes, again, the mistakes they learned from was like the famine and like, what you call it again, the Black Plague that went through London, and they realised it was due to hygiene issues. They learned from it and made sure that they improved their hygiene basically to make sure that it didn't come back again.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? Anything that we haven't learned from?
Complex. How to avoid the
What kind of complex? Sorry, what kind of complex?
I said complex.
Conflict. Oh, sorry, conflict.
Well, I don't know, just
Well, we still have conflicts. We still have
Yeah,
wars,
like Middle
civil
East,
wars.
like, if you look in the Middle East, like them problems, I suppose they happened and they didn't happen, and they happened again because of certain reasons.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yes, sir. You want to say something?
We haven't learned how to avoid the wars.
The same like what, the student said before. Yes. I mean, I think if we look around, we're living in the UK, okay? The year is 2015. Just during the weekend, something happened again in Norway. Last week, the incidents of the 3 youngsters in the States, in Ohio, I think it was in Ohio? In the States where they were killed due to Islamophobic, reasons, or all the incidents that happen on a daily basis. It was reported after Paris that more than 114 incidents happened in France, in Paris alone. If you look at posters, if you look at the internet, if you look at certain Islamophobic and racist groups, like, what is this one called? The Siege of Vienna. There is a website, you should definitely take a look at it to understand what's happening around us. It's a specific group, okay, which reminds you of the Siege of Vienna. Now, what happened with the Siege of Vienna? Again, history is very important here. Why is history very important? It was important for these people. They might not be able to use their brains for other things, but they were able to use it for that. They were able to go back to history and remind people of the Siege of Vienna in order to bring through their politics, their racist policy and Islamophobic policy. What happened? What is that? Siege of Vienna. Why is it important? What was the Siege of Vienna? A whole group is called like that. A racist Islamophobic group. Vienna was besieged twice. In the 16th once and in the 17th century. That was the last time. It was besieged by the Ottoman Turks, by the Ottomans. Okay, the capital of Austria, Vienna, was besieged twice. Both times, the Austrian Christians or the Christian Europeans or the Central Europeans managed to push the Ottomans back. Nowadays, if you go to Vienna, and one of my research, one of my books and DVD, was about that. I went to Vienna and I had the chance to take a look at the reminders of the Ottoman past of Vienna. As we said, Vienna was besieged twice. And it's unbelievable because people normally don't talk about it. More than 200 monuments in Vienna alone remind you of the Ottoman past. More than 200 monuments in Vienna. The city that when we think about Vienna, we're thinking of the concerts and of the opera houses, and we're thinking of people coming together and dancing, and the Middle Ages and Christianity. Who would ever have thought of Islam and of the Ottomans being there? But more than 200 monuments indicate that the Ottomans were once present there, and they once besieged the city, and they were a threat not only to the Austrians, but to the whole of Europe and Central Europe especially. Now these people, this group that goes back to this event or these events, take this event and say, this should never happen again in Europe, and we are the ones who make a crusade against it. Boom, another word again, crusade. What is a crusade? I'm sure that everyone has ever heard of that. Everyone must have heard of the incidents of the Crusades and Crusaders, right? So the Crusades, why are they important? George Bush mentioned that there was a crusade happening during his time. He used a historical term. If you don't understand what he's saying, then there's a problem. It goes back to history. And he takes facts from history, puts them over to the present. And that's what we have to do with history. We have to understand history is not just some events that are put together that we learn at school, which they normally do nowadays. What happened in 1581, what happened in 1623, what happened in 1921, and so on and so on. No, we learn them by heart, we pass the exams, happy and lucky if we have an A or A plus or B or whatever, and that's the end of story. No. That's not what history is about. That's exactly what it should not be. Okay? And I'm not going to make this mistake. In a lecture, in a talk like this, I will mention a lot of events, and I will mention important things that played a role for us to understand nowadays. But it is not about the dates necessarily. Yes, some dates are important. It is important to know that World War I happened before World War II. Okay? But to know exact dates and not understand why this event is important, that does not help you further. It just helps you pass some exams. That's nice. And that's the way history has been taught to us at school. To you, to me, to everyone. And that's why we have nowadays, when people hear about history, we have, the enthusiasm for a historical event is not really very big. Because they just think back on what they learned at school. Now, all this time, have I mentioned any dates? It is important to understand the events, and to take them over from the past to understand the present in order to shape your future. Okay? That's what history is important for. And number one, I would like to give you an idea why history is important according to certain people. Okay? Now, certain important figures in the past have mentioned, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, have mentioned the following. Anybody who wants to read the first one? Please, loud for the camera. Anybody? Jamil, you want to read that quickly, the first one? Please. Sorry, nobody wanted to, so.
History is a guide to navigation in perilous times. History is who we are, why we are, and the way we are.
Uh-huh. Number 2, anybody else? George Orwell?
I think it should be his history.
No problem. Anybody else? Come on, guys, come on. Number 2. Second one. Sister there in the back. Yes, please, thank you.
The most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of the history.
That's George Orwell. Thank you very much. And number 3, one of the sisters in the back, please. Yeah, read. What's your name?
Study the past if you would define the future.
What's your name?
Fadlan.
Fadlan, thank you. Study the past if you would define the future. Confucius. And the last, I read it out. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And that's exactly what the gentleman said here before, that we have to learn from our mistakes in the past in order to not repeat them, in order to avoid them. Okay, and this is the last quote that we have here. Now, if you look at all these quotes,